This recording is about motivation, and it's based on Rick Lavoie's book, Batteries Not Included. Is it a teacher's job simply to communicate information, facts, and concepts to their class? Or are they also responsible to motivate their students? What do we do with students who come into the classroom and are not motivated to work? There are many myths that have to do with motivation in the classroom. The first motivation is that nothing motivates a certain student. This cannot be true because all human behavior is motivated. If you have a student with their head on the desk and they're refusing to participate, is it fair to say that the student is unmotivated? No, because the student is motivated to sit in the back of your classroom with their head on the desk. That is what's motivating that student. They may be motivated to avoid failure, prevent their frustration, or even prevent angering the teacher, but all human behavior is motivated. So if we have a student who is sitting in the back of the classroom and isn't doing anything, they have misdirected motivation, and we need to learn how to motivate them to do what we want to do, not to sit in the back of them with their head on the desk. Another myth about motivation is that one day a student may be motivated, the next day that student is not motivated. Motivation is relative. So if you have a student in your classroom who is motivated in math, they're always motivated in math. Their day-to-day performance and their productivity and even their progress may vary, but you can't say that one day they're motivated and one day they're not. And when we have a student who comes in and does well, sometimes teachers use that against the student, and say that they actually, they must be motivated because they did it the day before. So you're holding the fact that they are at times successful against them just because they're not successful one day. And Rick Lavoie, who wrote this book, would say that you can compare motivation in the classroom to a marriage, where day to day you might be frustrated with your partner, but if you found out they were suddenly sick or ill, you would remember how much you love that person and how upset you are, because your love is constant, even if the day to day feelings are not. And the last myth about motivation is that if you give a student something, that will motivate the student. Teachers try to use rewards as incentives, and that may influence their behavior, but it can't really influence motivation, because motivation is constant. And the student may try to do well to get a reward, but they're not really being motivated. You're just changing their behavior. And we need to learn to have students be motivated intrinsically. Unlike a sticker chart, which is an extrinsic motivator, we need more intrinsic motivation, where students learn to feel personal satisfaction for a job well done. And in order to do this, they might need encouragement from their teachers, and they need realistic goals, and they need goals which are attainable and appropriate. And when they start to feel the satisfaction that they get from meeting their goals, they will then be motivated to do well in school. And it's not that they're trying to avoid punishment or that they're changing their performance for a sticker. They're actually learning what they need to do to succeed. And especially when you're working in a high school and you have adolescents, it's important to remember that students would much rather be considered dumb, or they'd much rather be considered bad than dumb, and they will go out of their way to not seem dumb in front of their friends. So if you ask a student a question and they don't know the answer, they might reach out and punch the kid next to them, and they get sent out of the room, which is exactly what they were hoping for, because they get out of looking stupid in front of their friends by not knowing the answer, and you've given them exactly what they want, which is an out. So it's important that if a kid is seemingly acting up, it might be because they don't know the answer, and not that they're a troublemaker or lazy. And instead of asking for students to try harder so they would do better, we need to get them to do better so that they will try harder.